Okay.
All right, we are live from
Live,
Orlando,
live, live.
Florida. 6'8", unknown weight, iron garlic. And we're going to talk about the 6 ways to increase your sales by
Nice.
50%. Ian,
Love it.
welcome.
Jason, thank you for having me. I'm excited because I've talked to like 3 or 4 agency owners. I'm like, you need this. You need to come here today.
That's
Like
all
people
you talk
talking
to is 3 or 4?
today.
Okay, today. I'm kind of, yeah, all right, good. Well,
Today. Sunday
Sunday on SmackDown. I don't know why I got wrestling on the brain. Like whenever I'm feeling sad, I watch the John Cena prank. You ever watch that?
Oh, no.
Oh, you got to watch it. It's like
I gotta
this
check
lady
it
gets
out.
pranked. They're like, "Do you want to go to see John Cena?" It's pretty funny. But well, let's jump into it, man. Let's talk about, you were telling me before there's 6 ways to really an agency can increase their sales, and people are not here for me to do bad impressions.
Yeah.
So let's kind of let's start going
Yeah.
through it, man. Like what's the first way we can, as
Well,
an agency, to increase our sales?
Well, I want people to step back and go, why clients buy, right? I think so, I talk to so many agencies, you do too, and they're trying to sell websites, they're trying to sell SEO, they're trying to sell um, uh, all this stuff like website care packages. Our buddy Mark, who might be on this, and that's not what people want, right? Why do people buy? It's because of 5 questions. 6 questions. First, they have a problem. They want to know that you know their problem. Second, you know that you've helped someone like them. I mean, that's what we do. Everyone buys, right? You have a clear system to solve the problem. This a big problem is so many agencies aren't clear about how they're going to solve this person's problem. I hear this all the time from prospects. They're like, "Oh my God, you have a clear way of doing this. I've never heard someone so clear on this." You have transformations that they want. They don't, like I said, no one wants SEO, no one wants website. They want to get more leads. And why do they want more leads? They want to grow their business. They want to be the authority. They also want you to get them. Nothing's more frustrating to people when an agency kind of talks down or sideways or technical to them about all these things, the jibber jabber that they're going to do. Like, we're going to do alt tags and blah, blah, blah. No one wants to hear that, especially big companies. I mean, there's probably some CMOs or whatever that might, but they want to know that you get them. And then they want to know that they like and trust you because they're going to give you a ton of money. And you've got to be thinking about these things in your sales process. It cannot be, we're going to do a website. It's going to cost this much. Do this and this costs this much. That's why you become an order taker. So, I mean, Jason, you agree with that, right?
Maybe. Yes, I do.
Maybe. I mean, you hear this all the time.
Well, the one thing that people need to realize is, like, especially when you're chatting with a prospect, like, people are like, "Oh, I need to sell them. They were like, all you have to do is identify what's the problem that they have, because they have a problem. That's why they're talking to you, and you just need to solve that. And especially too, if you can kind of really resonate with them, they're gonna connect with you way more. I just remember, chatting with prospects in the past at the agency, and they were like, "We went with you because we felt like you understood us the best."
Yep, exactly. That is so important. And I see this all the time. I literally I talked to a prospect today about case stories, and she's a corporate consultant, and she's got a big course and she wants to get more speaking gigs. And she's like, everyone's just spun my head around about how much marketing they're going to do and all the marketing things that they're going to do and all the things. And I'm like, yeah, that's what she got frustrated by that. She always felt like it was so much that she was going to have to do. And you got to listen to them, right? And then say, hey, here's someone else that you make it easy for them. And then you got to have a sales system. I can't tell you how many agencies I talk to, $1 million agencies. I'm like, how do you sell? Well, we get on a call and then we do a presentation and then we do a proposal. We do some needs discovery, but they don't have it systematized. And if you don't mind, if I can share my screen, I can just kind of go through a basic agency system. And at the end here, just so you guys know, just a quick overview of what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to go through my sales system. I'm going to talk about the best agency salespeople, stories versus testimonials, how to create case story tackle box, then the 6 ways. I'll probably skip over just to the 6 ways today, and I can tell you about stories versus testimonial and how to create a tackle box later. And if you get the book, testimonialbook.com, it's going to be 99 cents on Tuesday. You can go through this and get a bunch of bonuses. testimonialbook.com/swankbook1. You'll get, I'll also tell you how to get all this stuff that we're going to talk about today. How to use YouTube to close big deals and the math of it. And then I'm going to give you the temperature and video checklists and how to get the tools. So real quick. So the agency sales system, obviously you set up a 15-minute discovery call. One thing I always tell people is don't make sure that people know this is going to be completely a first fact-finding mission. Do we like each other? Can I actually help you? I'm not going to sell you anything on the beginning. Then you set up a discovery call. You get up to, everything about them. That discovery call should set up selling your foot in the door. There's tons of Jason's stuff on foot in the door. So, we'll put links to that in here, but you do your foot in the door session, you do the foot in the door presentation, you do a proposal with launch dates, you sell it, and then you review down the road. But you need to have that systematized. You should have that in a funnel. And Jason, do you have anything to say about that? Because it's pretty straightforward, but I feel so few people have this as a defined system and SOP.
Yeah, let me kind of bring us back right over here. That's kind of why I did the, Convert Masterclass. Really kind of goes through a lot of that sales system from, what could your sales team, like, how do you get to a point where you don't have to do selling as an owner, but your team does because you have that proven sales system. So if you guys want that, go to agencymastery360.com/convert. It's a free masterclass. So
yeah, and put a link down in the description too after this is done. And it is, those masterclasses are awesome. I wish I had those, back when I started. I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on people, consultants who didn't know the agency world. All right, so I want to talk a little bit now about the best salespeople. The best agency salespeople are storytellers, right? I worked with literally the best. Some of these guys were selling back in 2009, 2010, were selling $2 million to just attorneys in one city a year, right? Everyone's struggling to become a 7-figure business. This is one guy selling just to attorneys in one city and selling $2 million in 2010 when digital budgets were small. And he just collected stories. He collected stories and prepared a variation of stories and used them appropriately at every stage. So that's what I always learned to do, was always have a story that I could show someone, sell someone about a specific problem that they have, a specific goal. Like, oh, hey, you know what? You're getting crappy leads. This person was getting crappy leads. Then we started putting video case stories on their About Us page. And this attorney then all of a sudden was charging twice as much as everyone and closing them instantly, right? That's having that story ready. And that's why you have to have a collection of them. You can't just have one.
And I think you have to have your stories categorized. So when you bring on salespeople, right? So if you guys look at our business, our agency model, when we're doing an agency model for any agencies out there, we're looking at how are they attracting, how are they converting, how are they scaling. So it's 3 different things. So whenever we bring on salespeople, we're saying, here's a story a week on attract. Here's a story a week on convert. Here's a story a week on scale. Because what makes the owner a really good salesperson is exactly what you're telling them as stories. So go on.
Yep. Exactly. And you and I did a tackle box for your business. I've done this tackle box strategy session. It's a document that you put all these stories into one place. So you have them all and you can hand them off to someone. I can't tell you how many people I've gone to and they're like, oh, I've got stories. And they're like, I'm like, where are they? And they're like, we don't know. And so you need to be putting them in one place. If you get all the tools at the testimonialbook.com/swankbook, we'll put that link down below. You also get the tackle box document. So I'll give you all those documents. And there's some other stuff that I'm going to give you too. So once you've got that system in place and you're used to collecting stories, the first place can I share my screen again, Jason?
Maybe.
Thanks.
Your wish is my command, right?
Thank you, sir. This is the number one way that I start 15 years ago, door to door, getting into more doors with attorneys in New York, which is the hardest thing to get into anywhere because they're just not, a lot of them aren't nice people and they're attorneys in New York. And also they just have really mean front door people. So, really mean gatekeepers. So this will easily, just the simple method of, does this problem sound familiar? You email them, you LinkedIn them, you call them, you're like, hey, Mr. Attorney or Mr. Prospect, do you have this problem? Do you find that your website just doesn't translate your message well and really isn't telling your story? I hear that all the time from people. It's not telling our story. Our story needs to stand out. Or, you're just getting the leads are coming through are pretty bad. And you're spending a ton of money on them. Would you like me to show you how I solved it for someone just like you? And I insert in their business. Now, if you're a local agency or, an industry niche specific, which Jason talks about, really about finding that niche, then is that in the attract or is that in the convert, Jason?
It's in the attract.
Yeah, it's in the attract series. We talked about finding the niche. If you don't have one, get one, because then you can say you have the stories in that niche. And a lot of times they'll know the same company. When I worked with attorneys a lot, I would name drop. I'd be like, hey, so-and-so down the street. We worked with them and had this, and it would always perk up their ears and they would want to know. You show them the video then, right? You don't send the video right away cold. You ask them that. It will start conversations. It's the best way to start conversations. And even if they don't close then, if you have a story, someone's going to remember this. So they're going to remember that story. I've told stories and literally 5 years later, the prospect's like, oh, you remember when you told me that story about so-and-so? I want just those same results. So sales boost number 2, revive dead leads and follow up. Hey, are you still looking to do X? Here's how we did that for someone just like you. That's a simple email sequence. And it also drives the pain home of hey, I talked to you 6 months ago. I talked to you a year ago. I talked to you 2 years ago, and you still haven't gotten these results. Well, here's someone that did in that time. And it is a great conversation starter. So, this will easily get you increased sales of 10 to 25% just with this email sequence. If you have a good case story, which the book tells you exactly how to make them. And of course, we can help you at videocasestory.com, but I'm just saying, collect your stories, get them out there. They're going to get you calls. And it is going to pre-sell the person. Sales boost number 3, pre-sales call. This Dot & Co., which a lot of you people know, are amazing account management company for digital agencies. Give them a little shout out, our friend Taylor. But we did case stories for her. They've used, the tackle box process, helped them to clarify their ideal clients. And then we started case stories that they use in their sales system, pre-sales call. So someone calls up, right, and says, hey, I am interested. What's the best thing you can do? Have your best customers that are relevant to them tell the story. And now they're warmed up, right? They're like, oh, there's someone just like me with a problem like me. You're answering all those questions we talked about. And you will not only, I do this all the time, and it closes the deal much faster, right? It closes. I had 2 people close on my foot in the door today because of this, because they're getting case stories ahead of time. So make sure to hand select them too. Do not put this in automation. You want something that's specific to that person, specific to their problem, their industry. Send them a couple of them. It really adds that social proof. Jason, you have anything to add so far since you're on here and you're so smart? Oh, you're muted too. You're muted.
Oh, I think we demystified the smart part. So I literally just gave him $1 billion idea, but it was my mistake. So you guys will just have to tune in next time on that one.
What was it? Tell us.
I don't remember. I Frank the Tank moment.
Oh my God.
I blacked out. What happened?
What happened? Who am I? Where am I? What's this mountain in front of me?
Yeah, I don't know. Thought I was in Florida. Thought it was in Orlando.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's
I
really
wish I
hot
was in
here.
Orlando so I could get my public sub.
Yes. Oh, that reminds me. I've got one in the fridge. Uh, all right. This is sponsored by Public Subs.
Publix, please send a check to Jason Swenk, LLC.
Or just send a public sub twice a week.
Dude, if they did that, oh my gosh, yeah. I would take that over $10,000 a month. Easy.
You're making way too much money, and you should be able to fly to Publix. What's the closest Publix?
I looked at that. It was actually in Alabama, so they only stretch out to Alabama. So,
Oh, you're almost there. All right. So now you send case stories. You're going to close 10, 15% more clients just because of that. Next up is sales boost number 4.
you want
Pre-foot.
to
No, that's all right for this one. Pre-foot in the door. You should have case stories about your foot in the door, your strategy session, whatever it is, specific to that. So it makes it easier to sell that foot in the door. Like with us, ours is the case story tackle box. I have people talking about the transformation. I have people talking about how it really clarified their business, how much value it got out of it. And it makes it so easy to close that foot in the door and get them excited about it.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of people are coming to you and they want this whole big package. And you want to slow them down a little bit, but they don't want to be slowed down. But you need to. And the foot in the door is the best thing you can do. And you should go ahead.
Yeah, let me share our foot in the door just so they see it, and then they see kind of your work on there too, right? So, like if you go to scale my agency, scroll down, this video just talks about stories from people that have gone through the foot in the door, which we call our agency blueprint. So it really, really works. So check it out.
Yeah. And they have a great, if you're an agency, go through it. I've worked with Jason and we talked a lot about the blueprint, and Darby's done a great job of making an amazing, beneficial, it's not a sales pitch. It is helping you have a vision for your future, which you need to do for your clients as well. And like I said, you have the case stories about that one specific thing. So you sell that thing. So you're not just selling the big transformation, because then people will get agitated.
Can I tell them the biggest mistake people make on a foot in the door?
Sure.
So most agencies now are giving away the strategy and then they're charging for execution. So when they actually start working with us and the members are coming in and we're telling them and showing them, like they're seeing other stories and hearing other stories of other agency owners crushing it on the foot in the door, they kind of mess up, because then they go, all right, I'm going to charge all this money for this foot in the door. And this is something I used to give away, but I need to over deliver. So I need to even give more than what I used to. And you overwhelm the shit out of that prospect. So you're giving them too much information. You need to just use the foot in the door. And also too, it should only be like an hour, 2-hour conversation with you. It should not be something that you have to take back to your office and then go and present back to them this kind of report or these findings that you've done. Build it with them. So don't over deliver, and build it with them. And you'll be able to, it'll be like when we discovered how to fly.
Building it with them is key, because they get a feel for working with you. Right. And what's great then is they're excited at the end of that, and it should be 2 hours max, like you said, and make it feel easy, but make them see a clear path and feel like and see the work that goes into it. Right. I think that's a huge advice. And so that also gets into the next sales boost, which is, and if I can share the screen for this one, because this one is with case stories. You should have people talk about your process. The process is so important. Process videos are so crucial because they want to know what's going to happen next. And you have clients talking about the story. So make them feel the process with a case story filled process video. So have a process video, but have case stories woven in. That'll decrease confusion. Most people have no idea what's going to happen on the other side of this. Right. And you want people to know you should have an onboarding video, but you should have an overall video of everything that's going to happen over the next 120 days. It's going to future pace them. they're going to see themselves in this process. In which case, when they see themselves in the process, it makes it easier for them to sign on the dotted line. And it's massively going to speed up the process. Increase conversion. This should increase conversion at least 10%. I would say probably increase conversion 30, 40%. Because when people see that process, they're like, oh, I get it. What's next? And signing on the dotted line. And then sales boost number 6, case stories on proposals. Your proposal, you don't know who's going to look at it. Your proposal, it should not be the same as your foot in the door. Your foot in the door and proposal should be 2 different things. So when they get to the proposal, you should be selling on there. And that's how you sell with stories, right? You get that story on the proposal. PandaDoc I talk about this all the time. They did a study, video case stories. Well, video on proposals closed 32% more proposals, 32% more proposals across millions of documents. Boom. That's almost the 50% I promised you at the top of this, right? So, we future pace it. We massively speed up the process. Proposals, it's just a no-brainer to have case stories, and you just make sure it's relevant to them. That way, especially in a big company, you send this over to someone else. They're going to send it to a few other people. Your customers are still selling for you on that proposal. P.S. If you're not using like PandaDoc or something that alerts you when someone's looking at the proposal, get that now. Because you want to be alerted. That's one of the best things you can do to really speed up the process, because you can call them right then when they have questions, and you can get that proposal closed a lot faster. I probably could close 1 or 2 a quarter, and we're not doing super high volume, just by seeing that ding that pop up, and they're like, "Oh, I was just thinking about you." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." So this is bonus. I said 6, but number 7 is case stories on YouTube. Marty over at Bad Rhino, you guys have seen his case stories everywhere. I have one. Jason has one. He's grown into a high 7-figure agency. And over the past 18 months, 2 years, it's been all YouTube. And he's closed massive clients like, airlines and stuff, because YouTube is where people are going to go investigate you. The time on site is dropping massively to 2-3 minutes. They want to go to someplace familiar, and YouTube feels familiar. Yeah. I mean, Jason, go ahead.
He was telling us about the large airline. Like, he went into the meeting for the pitch, and he was doing all the talking, and he was like, "Ah, shit, man, I didn't win this," and then they won, and then after the fact, he was like, "I didn't think I won it." And they were like, "Oh man, we saw your videos all over the place. Like, you were our only choice." Like, that's how powerful that is. So awesome.
YouTube for you, right? Everyone thinks you're a celebrity.
Yeah.
You're so beautiful. That's what it is.
I don't know about that. Let's see. Let's just add some color there.
Oh, that's nice.
I just want to give a shout out to a couple of people that are listening, and also Saul is on, and he thinks Publix is great subs, which is great. Rob and Kevin. Kevin's in Lakeland, Florida. So just want to give a quick shout out to some of the people. Just the quick chats I saw.
Kevin's in the home of Publix. That's where Publix's headquarters is, Lakeland. Man, he probably gets like the ultimate, all the new. There's so many new Publix subs coming out, and there's
only 2 subs that I care about:
the Italian and turkey, or the chicken tender,
and then the chicken.
The chicken tender.
Oh, the chicken tenders. But then you put the buffalo sauce on, oil, vinegar, oregano, lettuce, tomato, green peppers. Oh, cheese. Oh, good. All right, go on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, no problem. Yeah. Rob asked about focusing on their top 3 pain points. You want to have pain points along the journey: cold, warm, and hot. Cold will be really problem oriented, like lead generation. Warm will be choosing an agency. You should speak to that stuff. Like, what's different from your agency from other agencies? Because people do care about that. And then hot will be specifically about you, like people saying how great you are, they're nice to work with, whatever. So you should have different along the way, different conversations, and your case stories can be different versions along the way too. All right, so back to here. So YouTube is number 1, like our number 1 strategy right now. So, and then sales boost number 8 is retarget case stories to your traffic and to your list. You can build a custom audience from your list and to anyone traffic from your website. Jason won't do this, but
No, I won't do it because Facebook's horrible platform that allows people to hack and allows me to sell to Asian baby products.
it will not you sell. Someone sold in your name to Asian baby products. That's horrible. But I've got one here. Can I share my screen again? Qasim, if you follow him on Threads, Qasim is an 8-figure. He just had an 8-figure exit. I don't know if I was supposed to say that. But Solutions 8, Austin PPC agency, they're running $200,000 a month for themselves in YouTube ads, $200K a month. And he talks about the system that they used. If I go over to his Threads, but their number one retargeting ad was the case story we made from using the system that's in the book. Folks, if this is just low hanging fruit, and if your customers are following someone around and then they get on your prospects and then they get on a call with you, they feel like you're everywhere, right? Like that's what we talked about with Marty. They feel like you're everywhere. So 100% do that. And then finally, if you add this up, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's, it's actually more if you multiply it, but it's a 70% increase in sales if you do all these things. Just a 10% boost from each of these places. And I mean, just the outbound thing, it transformed 15 years ago is what really got me into this. Just using these in outbound, but you throw in retargeting, people come in pre-sold. And so that's the key. If you go to testimonialbook.com/swenkbook1, you get the emails. If you reply to the email and say, hey, I want the rest of the stuff, I'll send you this whole document. But this is the different temperature and length of what I would do. Email response, don't send in cold. I would, pre-call, warm, foot in the door proposal, hot, foot in the door specific, pre-proposal process video with case stories. Compilation case stories are great for your proposal. A follow-up video with a transformation specific, connection specific, or connection specific. So, hey, there's someone just like you, or someone that want something you wanted. And this was supposed to be cold. I made this just for you guys. So YouTube, hot, optimized for search, and retargeting, cold, warm, and hot, depending on how much video they watched. So yeah, once again, the link will be down below, but testimonialbook.com/swenkbook1. I've got the book out. It's coming out 8/22. It'll be 99 cents if you get into the pre-launch. It tells you exactly how to do this. But this stuff will transform your agency.
99 cents.
99 cents on launch.
Very cool. Awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Rob pre-registered. I appreciate it. But yeah, does anyone have any questions? Does anyone have any questions? I can take a look if anyone wants to take a look at their online presence. Oh, he's bidding on some big agency products. That's awesome. Projects. That's great. Good luck, Rob. Case stories will help you. Anyone else? No questions? Well, Jason, thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. And we will chat with you guys soon. Have a swank day.
Have a swank day.